All right, we are back again in another anonymous stream or whatever, another unannounced secret stream where I try to get things done. All right, I get music, you don't. Sorry about that. Okay. Right. We are gonna dig at expressions now, which is by far the absolute worst. And this needs testing. Not sure how we're gonna do the testing even. This is what we're gonna do. Because this is so bad. I don't get it. How do you design software this poorly, YouTube? I mean, honestly, you make no sense. All right. Let's make sure I'm not missing anything over here in the meantime. I am not. Okay. Yeah, let's just jump into it, shall we? So we're gonna figure out what's the current issue. The issue is value subscriptions, right? That's the current issue. And this comes from expression side. This is by far the most unpleasant file in this entire project. By far, because of this function. So this is clearly where things are going awry. All right, let's ditch all the A-sprite. We don't need any of that. We don't need any of that. Don't need any of this. We've figured that out, whatever that means. Okay. So let's do away with this, shall we? Right. Okay. So the goal now is going to be to figure out how we can do this. Okay, so that's going to be height. That's going to be width. And we're going to run this. And how we're going to run this thing, right? So we're going to do text value. This should now show only one. No, I didn't want to. Okay. This should now show only one main, please. Change. One subscriber, one change. I have no idea how I managed to make this many mistakes around this, though, right? Cool. So we have the runtime. There you are. Tick. And let's do apply changes. This should now have a singular change. And it does. There's only one change in there. there's only one subscriber. Now the question is, if we slap another value on there, as in, let's say a border, and we run this, will there be 2 values now in self changes? No, there's still just 1 value. Okay. How do we get this to be 2 values? I think maybe if we do something like for I in 1. I'm a little bit worried here. No, there's still only 1. Okay. We're just gonna keep looking until we find another value. That's still just showing 1. Let's go into the component update. So we're just gonna depend on width now in our template. Okay, that's strange behavior. But that's because we don't have the init function. We don't need the init function, right? It's not a biggie. Okay, this has made 2 changes. And that makes sense. The width and the value. All right, let's make another change. This, however, should only have 1 change. And it only has 1 change. What the actual what? I mean, ideally, there isn't an actual problem, right? But I don't think life is that simple. Okay. All right, let's try this again. No, where's supply changes? Down here. So we don't actually do this function up there. All right, you know what? It doesn't really matter. So we should have a couple of now. There are 2 changes. There shouldn't be 2 changes. There should be 3, right? And now there should be 1. Oh man, how does this work? That was empty. Okay. All right, there's only 1 change happening. What if we modify this to have more values there? That's kind of sus, isn't it? That should have had more values, right? Oh, right. No, it won't. Okay. Oh, do you know what? I'm missing a vertical stack in here. Okay. Let's see if this very particular way of finding things out is working. All right. We'll trigger the first one. Okay, 2 changes. We have a 2 here and a 2 here. There's a changed here. And what's the other change? Insert. Okay, cool beans. Okay, 3. Okay, hang on. No shit, that's just 1. That's still just 1. How did this become so many? All right, we'll do this. We'll increment this by 3. Okay, now we have 3 values in there. Oh, does this mean that the if statement is the culprit? So even if we set this to 1, are we making an if branch for every one of these? Even if we don't use it? Right, so let's go to a template and say if x is equal to 10, then do this, right? So this literally does not exist. This will never happen. First one we know of. Oh my garb. I think that's the problem. Oh. Okay, so at least I found out what the issue was. The issue is that if statements are wrong. Was this a fun discovery? No, because this means a horrible thing. Damn. Okay. Okay. So why is this problematic? Because we evaluate the branch whether it exists or not. So this sucks quite a bit. Okay. What do we do then? What do we do? Do we accept that as part of it? Can we change that? Right. Okay, so we have a problem with the if statements, but I don't know if there are real problems though. There was a lot of updates happening. And I wonder if that's the problem now. So if we change the if statements to not work like that, what would that actually mean? Only ever show this, right? If we do this, the moment we load the values, we're only ever going to see this. It doesn't matter what we do, but we are still evaluating changes for this thing, which is not ideal. Not even a little bit. So damn. Do I even think it's sensible to associate the visibility of a widget with the values they subscribe to? So we kind of unsubscribe while we're flitting between visible and invisible state. That's kind of rubbish. What about the amount of updates that we do send though? Because there was a horrible amount of updates for the value. Oh, right. That was actually no, not all right. Not all right. Okay, we're gonna figure this out. So close to release, and then this happens. I think like one of the more frustrating aspects of writing software is that you think you're done. And I've been thinking I've been done forever. Since I did the podcast with Ekton, I've been thinking, yeah, I'm almost over the finish line, right? There's no finish line, okay? There's no finish line. Nope. Okay. Oh, this is such a trap, okay? So we're gonna skip the first change set here, all right? We should only really have one change here. And there is only one change here. Music is a bit loud. So you guys don't get music. But I don't trust it when it comes to YouTube. On Twitch, it's kind of okay because you're not storing the VOD there or whatever. But on YouTube, it's a different story. So this is only ever going to be one change. Okay, what if we increase the... Whoops. What if we change this to 2 or 3 even? Right? So if we run this, we're going to see 3 of them now. Right? Will this result in 3 if statements containing 3 values? I think it will. And that's what kind of sucks. So it does and it doesn't. Forget the first one. No. Well, yes. There are 3 changes in there. Right? There are 3 changes in there. what a trap this is. There are 3 changes in here. That's because we have 3 if statements in there. Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do with this thing. I think we'll just leave it, right? We'll just be okay with this thing. We crank up the FPS and we're okay with it. I think all of the code should be working now. So we can make this thing a little bit better, right? We can make it a little bit better in the future. I'll leave it for now and make it better in the future. Okay, then it's an understood predicament. So we should actually be able to observe the same thing if we just change this to be a static list, right? Like this. Okay, let's put a breakpoint in there. We are now showing 3 of these. Yep, it's an array with 3 values in it. And an obscene amount of key span, right? For some reason it's 8 in between. Why is that? 1, the top level one, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, actually that makes sense. If you can count, it makes sense that there's 8 in between them. But crud. The only drawback with this obscene amount of children this will still produce a lot of change sets, a large change set if value changes, even though there is really only one singular value in the tree that can be the recipient of this change. There we go. All right. I mean, the alternative is to drop the evaluation, make the evaluation deferred. We could look at the code for producing the widget tree, right? That would be somewhere in the world of templates. That's the store. Thank you very much. Okay. Statements. Statement evaluation. Where are you? Statements. There you are. Eval. Okay. If we have an if, we're going to eval if, and that's going to produce the body. If we make this deferred, so we can, or maybe we don't make it deferred, but we make it active, inactive branch. But damn, that's going to be very complicated. That's going to be very complicated to actually deal with. I don't think that's going to fly. Okay. Meanwhile, I keep sounding like a horse. All right, enough of that. So, this isn't entirely riveting, is it? It's kind of a slog. Well, I guess that's why I'm streaming this on YouTube. Because regular viewers wouldn't watch this. You're getting things done instead of talking nonsense. We don't want to see that. Sort your shit out. We want to see game duel. All right. We're going to evaluate the condition. We're going to fill the body. But could we avoid subscribing to changes? Maybe that's doable. So we only subscribe if it's, I don't know if it's worth doing. And I don't even know how to express this to the end user. Like, how do you say that? Like, don't put unnecessarily large for loops generating an obscene amount of widgets, because the performance is going to be rubbish, right? I mean, you can't really say that, can you? Because people are going to do what they think is intuitive. And generally, as a programmer, you don't spend an awful amount of time thinking about your if statements and your for loop. If you're doing that kind of macro optimize or micro optimization, hyper optimization even, if you're doing that kind of hyper optimization of your code, then you're working on a very bespoke thing and you're not working on a platform independent UI library kind of thing, right? So the long and short of this is, you don't think about this as a programmer. You don't think about the cost of your for loop, right? I mean, you do if it's iterating over a large collection, but you don't think about the cost of your for loop as you write it, right? Because that would be madness. So can we somehow alleviate the pain or the performance loss, the cost of doing this? Could we take this out maybe? So can we unsubscribe if the if statement is not visible? So we can probably demonstrate this by just whacking this into an if else here, right? So if 1 is equal to 10, this will never happen. This cannot happen, right? And this is not about, well, I mean, this we could solve with const eval, right? We could do an optimization pass here where we say, okay, look, you're doing this. That's never going to happen. We can replace this entire code block with just that, right? But we're not in the business of doing that just yet. Instead, we want to see this not producing changes. I think that is sufficient to start with. So let's go to changes. Apply changes. There we are, right? See, this contains one change to a widget that will never be in play. What's the cost of removing a widget? That cannot be a lot. Do we even have the option for that? Let's look in the store. Actually, it's going to be in the States where we deal with this. Subscriber. Okay. Here are subscribers. Do we have the option to remove? Of course we have to be able to. Yes, yes we do. And we never downgrade from one to the other. Once we made the heap allocation, we never downgrade until we get to an empty one. That is the only time we downgrade. I could still be responsible for some allocations, right? But yeah, let's not worry about that. Let's not worry about that. Let's instead do the removal if the widget isn't showing. But that's a little bit of a... That's a little bit rubbish to do though, isn't it? Okay, let's look at the eval function. It's not even about that. It's about the display, isn't it? It's not even about that. I don't think we can do this, okay? Let's look at the update change here. It's probably on the widgets updates. No? All right, node update, okay? Never, update is never called on control flow, only the children. So if it's if or else, they're not updated by themselves. Really? Where does this change even come into play then? If it's not control flow. Oh, good grief. Oh. Is this my third stream today? I don't even know. The other ones have been short though, given that I had a bunch of work to do. Yeah, I think this is my third stream today. There's no worth pausing the stream to go and eat some food and then one, right? But, okay. Rather, control flow is managing these in the layout process instead of as control flow has access to all the branches. Fine. That sounds very important. Okay, so this is probably going to happen through the filters. Right. Somewhere. All right, then we don't need this code. Wait, do we? No, this is entirely irrelevant to this. Then this can become a if let is equal to parent. Right? I mean, why waste the clip? It would have complained otherwise. All right, so it's not part of the Pathfinder. This is going to be part of widgets, not query state either. Where is this happening? Right, it's probably part of the layout. Layout filter, that's what I'm looking for. See, I think this is where the control flow is. Update should probably be called layout, as it does not update during an update step. That is not possible since the child width is checked out already. Yeah, I'm not gonna make the same mistake again. I'm not gonna introduce the same issue. This is not possible since the child width is checked out already, so iterating over the children of control flow does not work. We could, however, rewrite. No. Widget update. Do we have access? We have access to the children, so we could unsubscribe at this point. But the question is, will that become expensive? All right, let's write this down. There are two options. Either leave it as it is, meaning in a sufficiently, actually meaning any if branch, even or though it may never render, meaning any if branch that may never render will still hold elements that are subscribing to changes and will be notified if there is a change. This is option A. Option B, pardon me, I wanted to write option 1, but when the if statement is evaluated, any non-visible branch will require all the children to remove themselves as subscribers to values. No. There we go. Which is a bit harsh. If the values become visible, then all the children will resubscribe. Okay, let's dump this. At the present time, I am unsure of which one of these are the preferred ones. Option B has more performance impact if there are many widgets, whereas option A means better performance for fewer. Could you type, Brain, fewer widgets? Has better performance for fewer widgets that are constantly toggling between show, hide. All right. So that's all we can say, right? Let's see what Discord says. Beep boop, Discord says nothing. Okay. Then we have dealt with this. I think this should be possible. Out of interest, how would we go about this? How would we unsubscribe from a value? Let's go to expert. This is the most hated file in this entire project. I cannot stress how so many problems stems from this file. It's a logical nightmare. Let's say change condition x or y is 1 and x is the value of 1, but y changes over time. Do you still produce or change every one y changes even when x is true? No, you can. This will result in an if statement, just answering a question on Discord. This will result in an if statement that subscribes to changes of both x and y respectively. So if either changes, the widget, the if will be notified. For that to not be the case, we would have to constantly sub/unsub, done unsub from values. All right, I think we covered that. All right then. This is not the current issue. We're gonna park this one. And what should we tackle next then? All right. What's next before any kind of release of this thing, right? Maybe some sort of less nightmarish scenario. Oh, the common val. You know what? I have a list of bugs. Set focus. Damn. This is by far the worst thing. So let's do this then. All right. Starts to work on the set focus issue. How do you do an insane cry emote? There we go. Okay, this should queue up a focus call. If the widget in question does not accept focus, then the call is ignored. How do we choose a component focus? Possible to extend the query API to operating components. Right. Oh my goodness. I haven't even answered that question. So what does all this mean, right? Well, currently we have tab for focuses. So if you press tab, you're going to go from one widget to another. And this is fairly simple. We could display this in our template very easily. We can have a border with a color focused, all right? And then let's just do that. This will not have a color because there is no such thing as focused, right? Maybe I need to review the pull request that brings colors in, or am I too tired for that? Okay, let's register a couple of components with this. So this is our main component, the parent component. This is a dumb name, right? Let's just name this to parent state. And on focus. Can we bring the on focus in for this thing, right? Somewhere here we have on focus. Yeah, there we go, right? So we're gonna do state dot focused is gonna be set this to red. Okay, so we're gonna move this state value into here, focused value string. Right, so we're just using a string to represent this for now. All right, keyboard, right? Focused, we'll go with reset to string into. Okay, so now we won't see anything because we're going to start off with a reset value for this thing. Where is underscore? There you are. So we don't need that. We probably don't need to care about this or this. If I learn to type one day, it'd be super cool. Okay. That's the tick. We certainly don't care about tick. And then we care about focus and blur. Right, so on focus we go to red, and out of focus we change this to reset. Okay. And it does nothing. That's because we have no other widgets. Also, we run this at a frame rate of 3. That's really inconvenient. Let's load some other widgets in here, right? Let's do component A and component B and component C. You know what? They can all be the same component. That's not an issue. Then we're just going to register these components and we'll make them very, very basic. Runtime.register component and component A. We're just going to call this thing component.am, all right? And we should have a similar, you know, we can just reuse the state, couldn't we? If we make this thing have a new function instead, then we can import the parent state, add a new function, and just whack that in there. Okay, we weren't done with this. So this will be parent and parent state new. Okay, it's a bit weird that we're calling it the same thing, right? But I just want a few different components, right? B and C. Which okay, so we now need to add the comp aml text component. Well, we're going to do a border here as well. And we're going to set the foreground to focused, was it? Right? But the root widget never gets focused. Okay, so we can jump between these things with tab. And whichever widget is focused is the recipient of any key events or whatever. Right? Mouse events are global. That's how we can do things like drag and drop, right? But the root widget never seemed to receive a focus event. Crap. Okay. Right, but then how do we operate on giving focus to one of these components, right? Let's say, for sake of conversation, that we want to be able to issue a focus, right? Say focus on a component. And now it might be obvious that we can just reuse comp A, but herein lies the rub. We can have code that looks like this, and comp A might actually be a prototype. And now I broke something, which obviously means it will be sleeker to do that, right? We can still focus on it, but you can't refer to anything as component A because we don't know which one, right? We need some means to determine what gets focused here, right? These are all the same thing. If I go and change the component template, component is here, they all change, right? We lose focus because the components are prototypes. I do wonder if we do this. Yeah. Prototypes are such a horrible little gob. Oh my goodness. Now that's a bug if I ever saw one. Okay, let's make that happen again. All right, it's the first first three, so that's B. Okay, we break it. Now we're gonna get out of here. Okay, it's a bit of an issue with that one. It's a bit of an issue with that one. It never occurred to me how someone can be bad, or how you can be bad at designing in the terminal, right? But it turns out that I didn't really know that you could be good at designing in the terminal. And when I saw some of the stuff the community produces, imagine that you invent a car, and it's a really fast car. It's a really amazing and fast car, fuel efficient, right? The whole 9 yards. And you're really excited about this. And you don't know that you're actually a really bad driver until the rest of the community starts trying out your car. Okay. Anyway, enough crying. Okay, enough crying about that. Let's see if we can fix this. Streaming on YouTube kind of feels a little bit like getting back to streaming, like starting streaming from the beginning, right? There are no viewers. There's not really much of a community, mainly because there are no viewers almost. And it's a lot more effort when you start out streaming because you have to do a lot of the work yourself. Streaming on Twitch, it's very easy, right? You just open a tech article and you're gonna have people having like really strong opinions about things, and you can have some discourse there. You're not gonna get anything done, but you can at least have the discourse. You can have the conversations, right? We talked about the Linux Rust in the Linux kernel thing. How that dude simply just wouldn't listen to anything what the speaker was talking about, and like you're coming in here trying to force us all to learn Rust, and the speaker's like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, where do you get that from, right? That's not at all what anyone said. It's just my take on the whole situation. It was so ridiculous, right? But yeah, so streaming on YouTube is very different, and it's a little bit relaxing. It's a little bit relaxing for it to be able to do things, and you know. Anyway, so maybe the prototypes are wrong. This says a lot about society. What, that I'm on my own talking into nothing? Or do you refer to the guy or the guy in the talk? Were you there for that stream this morning? we looked at that video at the end of the stream, and the guy was just going nuts about you're not gonna bring your cult here. You're not gonna force us to learn Rust. And it's like no one said anything, man. It's your straw man. Good luck. I wonder if we have like a really bad latency on YouTube chat though. I have no idea. We seem to be losing state when we use prototypes. And I wonder if we can avoid that. We probably could avoid that. We probably could avoid losing state there. It's a frustration, but I think it's sort of an acceptable one when it comes to this. Also, hi, Yusuf. How are you doing today? Okay, so we know the prototypes are the way they are. All right, so we found another bug. I'm not even going to report this bug anywhere. I'm just going to... Well, I can write it down for myself, right? All right. Bug. Setting focus on when rebuilding. See, this isn't even right. Actually, this is right. When rebuilding as a result of hot reloading, the current active widget needs to have on blur cold. Otherwise, there could be an inconsistent state. Okay. That could be the case. That could be the case. I wonder if it would make sense to try to do not a WYSIWYG designer in this, but like a drawing program where you could choose a brush and colors. Although I don't know how we would do like a color picker. The color picker is going to be pretty grody, right? Oh, we'd have to do things like fill as well. Oh no, it's going to be a terrible idea. Abort, undo. Okay, let's see what we can do about this thing. I guess you could do things like the non-contiguous fill, though. So it's not a, like you're doing like a palette swap sort of thing. All right, okay, let's not worry about something we're not ready to tackle yet, right? So this thing should be true for futures as well. I wasn't there and I was referring to the statement that you have to work more when you start out as a new streamer. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, but you kind of do. You have to start out because you have more to prove. You don't have a... Well, on YouTube, it's impossible, right? There's no discoverability. I'm guessing the only reason you knew I was streaming here was because I posted about it on Discord in a channel that there's like 5 of us hanging out in there chatting, right? I'm guessing that's why you knew about it, right? But yeah, you have to work more, but that makes sense because you have to be discovered, right? People don't know, no one knows about me streaming on YouTube other than a handful of people, kind of. And everyone who's watching my stream is normally doing that on Twitch. Yeah, there's no discoverability on YouTube. If I don't even know how people find this stream, right? When I'm streaming on YouTube. I rarely have any viewers on YouTube. So that's probably why. No, you have to work more as a new streamer. You have to start building up your viewership, and it has to come from somewhere, because the people who are basically, how I think it works is that you will bring people from the outside into Twitch. So you'll have some people watching your stream on Twitch, but that's not a lot in the beginning. So you have to kind of be discovered. I think what made it work for me was a guy named Jitspo who streams. Brilliant guy, right? He raided me once and sort of boosted my stream with like 30 viewers or whatever. And I had some viewer retention there, and that worked out really well. I've had raids from much bigger streamers after that, and I had like very little viewer retention. So you kind of have to bring people from the outside. You can capture a small market on Twitch, and you have to sort of overlap with other people's style, right? So the reason I was rated by a guy named Michael Reeves once, who does like a lot of hardware stuff, and there was very little viewer retention from that because I was programming Rust and doing something completely unrelated. I have a very different personality. There was no overlap, right? I've been rated by the Primogen as well, and there's like very small view retention there. It's a little bit more, but I think there's more like programming overlap there. But yeah, if you want to get into streaming, you have to work hard in the beginning. But I think that's probably just how it is for most people in anything, right? Once you become well known, people seem to just know you and gravitate towards you because of like large viewerships and stuff, right? I don't know this for a fact. I'll let you know if this ever happens, okay? But I prefer to hang out in small streamers' streams. Have you tried to chat in a big streamer's chat? It's just noise. You will not get a word in edgewise. So like it's almost like groups inside the chat. And if you're watching like a tech streamer, there's like 50 messages of like backseating just flying by, but no one's gonna read them, even if they're helpful, right? It's really difficult, right? To chat in those streams. So I prefer to watch smaller streams and like chat and stuff. There's one streamer, Temporis, who I always watch when he streams if I'm awake for it, and that's when I'm the most productive. And most productive is when he's streaming some kind of game, and I can sort of put it on, and I can sit there and be productive and chat a little bit because the chat's not so high paced. But yeah, it's just for some reason I'm just really productive when he's streaming. I asked him if he was going to stream today, but he said, "Nah, the game I'm playing is not, the game I'm playing is not very fast." And I'm like, "But I don't care. I just want the dialogue, man." And well, I don't know how that would happen, but that is one of my concerns, though, Yusuf, is that I love the community we have because I can interact. People turn up who I haven't spoken to in a long time, and I still remember them. There is no way that's going to happen in a large streamer's world, right? They're not going to be, "Oh yeah, no, you were in my stream 6 months ago and you said hello and that you were really into TypeScript or whatever," right? No, I have no idea who you are, man. I never saw that message probably, right? But yeah, no, I don't think I'm ever going to reach those magnitudes, Yusuf. I think we have too personal a community though. Right. Even though I wouldn't mind bumping my viewership, but I kind of would be sad if it destroyed the community. Right. Okay. That said, we need to solve this thing. So the thing that I'm trying to tackle now is how do we get the how do we get the tab to work, right? We can't use this as our tab target, right? Because we can have multiple things with the same name, right? Comp A could not be the target. So I don't even know how we're going to select which component to target. Maybe we could add attributes to components. That could work, right? So we could do something like ID is 1 here. And then the letter J, because I misplaced my hands. All right, so 2 and 3. 4 and 5. This will still work. We could do this. And then we will send a focus request. But what happens, because these IDs aren't unique in any way or form, right? There's nothing saying that they have to be unique, right? And technically we could do this for ID in 0, 1, 2. Although let's go with 1, 2, 3, because maybe there's a Lua programmer around and they feel a bit neglected. All right. All right, ship. I think maybe that would be okay. I think we can swing this. So we slap the ID on the component. And then we just write something similar to the element query, but for this. So what would that look like in our component? I don't think we have this child component input state in use anywhere. No, we really don't. So let's get rid of that one. So here we have elements. What if we did something like context.setFocus? And then we use this in a similar fashion to elements, but it would have to be like a first, right? So we can emit from here, but we can also do something like set focus. And then I don't even know how we're going to operate on this thing. We have this element thing here. So we could, like, do we have access to, we have a component context in here. But that's all we have. This does not contain anything of value. We have that. So maybe we could. I just don't know how we're going to express this. So we call set focus, and we need to do something here, right? We need to build up something that is similar to a query. All right. Maybe, so if this were elements, we would do elements dot by attribute ID is 1, right? That's legit to write. So maybe that should be set focus, where some ID is some value. What do we need on the right hand side? Into common val. I think maybe this could work. Maybe this could actually work. So we make this work for the set focus. This needs to take a mutable reference to self, given that we need to mutate some kind of collection for this. All right, we need a lifetime to go with this. Although this makes me a little bit nervous. This makes me... We would have to do a lookup here. Do we have anything with a lifetime on here? See, it's the publish function, but that doesn't work, right? The publish function is such a sneak. I mean, maybe we just eat the allocation here. No. Oh, Nelly. Maybe we just eat the allocation here. Unless we resolve the component ID from here. Okay, I have a plan, Stan, and I think that we can make this work. Let's go to runtime and let's look at the context that we create here. We can just grab this from functions, maybe events, right? Handle, event handler. There we go. And let's have a look at what we're actually building up here. This tree with component. Are we ever gonna be able to have access to the components here? No. Although technically we have access to... We have access to a singular component. Alright, this is about doing a lookup, which oh yeah, we probably should not call this lol, okay? Event context, okay? Whoops. Even if this thing is just for internal use, right? Internal use only. Right, it's all set focus. And the tree module is apparently... Yeah, why does that... We don't reassign that one. Let's just go and quickly clean that mess up. Store. So that's like around line 300 somewhere. This thing, right? We're not going to reassign that or do anything with it. Let's just clean that up. Okay, so let's do... component context. Okay. All right. Okay. So just losing it now. Do we have access to components themselves? I do so wonder. All right. Let's go to events. We don't seem to have... Unless it's in the event context. They are in the event context. Damn. So we do a get here. And because of this, we cannot borrow this thing. We cannot borrow this thing immutably. Once we have this thing, we cannot refer to anything here as event context.components here, right? This should not compile. Why does this compile? Is it because we never use this thing? Oh, hang on. No, this is fine. this holds the event context in here. Ooh, Nelly. We have with value here. I think this could work. See, we create the elements here. We can create components here, which would be similar to like ooh, what would that be? Okay, let's just do something kind of like a little bit bananas, right? So we'll do event context dot components. We can't move this out, so that's fine. But can we borrow this thing? Oh shit. Well, we can re-borrow this thing, but that does not stop us from... That does not relieve the mutability rules. The mutability rules are still there, even if we have an immutable reference to components. Question is, can we pass this in here into the component context? Which one did we just add the publish function? Not publish. Set focus. This one lives on the context, which holds the component and untyped context. Okay, we could maybe do this. Components that we do not want, and then components here. Can we, maybe we can just qualify as this. Now we need to add components as part of this now. And then just put components in here. I'm excited. Are you excited? Yes, we can do this. And because we can do this, we can query the components out of the widget tree. Although, set focus on other components from a component, right? Technically, this is queuing up a focus. It's not instant. I think this can work. Hot dang, that makes me kind of excited. So we have the elements here that contains the children of the node, but now we need to have access to... Actually, this might very well be a complete mess. Yeah, see, we would need the tree as well. Right. I got so excited and then it doesn't work. Come on, man. Come on, man. Tree dot, what would it do? Something like get node by ID into. I don't even know if we can do this. That's not the point. Get, is that it? No, all right. You know what? Fine. The tree has so many functions that I actually need a tag bar open to see what we can do with the tree. Get mute by ID, get mute by path. So this one, this actually seems a bit sketchy. Get mute by ID. Do we have like a get by ID? Get ref by ID? What's the difference between get node by path and get by... Okay, that's why we don't return. It's not easy when it starts filling up with functions, right? The tree is a little bit on the complex side. But okay. I can go with this. So get ref by ID. Let's try that one. get ref by ID. Okay, so we need a value ID. Right, what's inside components? We just need to get a value ID somewhere. Component entry, which contains a widget ID. So we can get a component and we can get the component entry by that. I don't even know how we can iterate over components and map this to the tree. So we need to be able to search through all the components. Actually, we don't really. Well, we do. The question is, do we filter? Do we take the components and filter the widgets? Or do we find the widgets and filter by component, right? It's a little bit hard to say. Okay. So, well, let's just look through here. So we're gonna get the widget A through there. So we can get a, how do we get a component entry out of here? Get by index. Okay, we'll cheat, right? We'll just to just explore this, right? So widget ID or WID, because we might have something called widget ID already that we certainly don't need to override. Actually, why don't we just do this? Widget ID. Okay, so we can't do this. I didn't think we would be able to. So what this means is that we either need to store a closure Do we store a closure, or do we eat the allocation, right? We could have a coaster. We could have a coaster for this, maybe. So, okay, let's have a look at what that would actually look like. So maybe we don't even need the components in there. I got excited for no reason. Right, back that up to there. Okay, so I think what we would end up with here what would this look like? Okay, Rust Analyzer died. I don't know what's up with Rust Analyzer. It's just constantly dying on me now. Well, it's not constantly dying on me. Let's do a systems update and see if there's anything in here that's pertaining to Rust Analyzer. Well, I didn't read those, so we're just gonna see what happens from here on out then. Okay. We'll just download some stuff. It'll be fine. Okay. Nope, silly. Right. Okay, so what was I talking about? Yes, cows. Okay. So if we have a function, now we're going to use std borrow cow. You kind of start to get an idea for where everything is in the standard library when you don't use autocomplete and stuff like that, right? Do it. We're going to call this thing. And what are we going to pass in here? We're going to have a struct called context. And we're going to store something in here. I don't know what yet. And then we're going to call dude. We're going to pass in a mutable reference to the context here. And we're going to see if we can do something with this where we say context dot. And we want two things to work, right? Focus, and we do a and 1, and then we're also gonna do format, right? We want to convert this thing into an own string. So let's import the context, and let's have a function called focus, and that takes a mutable reference to self. It's gonna take a key, and rather than saying that this is a string slice, we can say that this is something that implements into cow static, and the value can be a U32, right? I feel like that might be okay. All right, and then static stir maybe. Just wait, what? All right, no. See, we could do this, and then we'll have a queue here, which is just going to be a vec of tuples, because why not? And in this tuple, we're going to have our cow, which has a static lifetime for a stir, and a U32 for the ID. So in our solution, we would obviously use a an into common val instead. So we have a common val, but this could work. So this gives us the option to call focus on both of these, right? So this would be an owned one, right? Like a to string, right? And we're just going to store this in the queue. Dot push. Yeah, that's a thing. But more importantly, whenever I used to use autocomplete, I always found that I was doing a terrible job with it, right? So I ended up doing things like popping open the list and then spending time scrolling through the list, reading words. Even, I mean, sometimes you see people pop open the autocomplete and they are only missing one character from spelling out what they're looking for, right? But it's such a part of our workflow, right? I do use Rust analyzer, right? I can go definition and I can look at the documentation, right? But yeah, I don't use it for other stuff. I think this is fine. So we specify the attribute and the value, and that's how we're gonna set our focus. So our focus is effectively a queue of actually we're not even gonna make it into a queue, right? We'll make this into an option of a cow stir. Replace, right? So if we call focus multiple times, if we make it into a queue, then that's kind of more accurate because we would trigger the focus events, but we would never stay with them. Maybe a queue is more correct. So this is sort of... So if you have like 30 widgets that all call set focus on random widgets, and these random widgets never receive the focus event, that would also be a bit surprising, wouldn't it? But then there was a question of the allocations, right? Now, I think we'll do this. I think this looks fine. So what are you programmed these days, Yusuf, right? What are you working on? Anything exciting? Okay, so we need this on the event context. I think this is what we can dereference to. So where's the component context? That's actually what we need, not the event context. So this component context is what we're passing in. And then an untyped context. And what is inner? It's the untyped context. There we go. So let's put it on. Well, it doesn't really matter which one we put on. Component context maybe sounds better, right? The chess end. Did you come up with a good name for it in the end? What fish did you settle for? Yeah, it's definitely going to be this one. Focus Q. It's still called chess engine. You know, that's also fine, okay? Oh, I don't know if we can use RT here. Okay. Oh, right. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to do something heinously dumb here. There we go. So the focus Q before the associated event, that makes no sense. This should be the last thing. Not that it matters, right? That was me using autocomplete, by the way. Bam, right? Oh, you know what? Why constantly recreate this thing? Why don't we just... Actually, we can start from here. Oh, my README is really bad for this project. It has nothing. And I feel like the guide is underselling this so hard. So I really need to bump the whole thing. Okay, we can change this in the future. Make this a reusable, a mutable ref to an external queue. Right. To save some of them lush allocations, right? We'll save some lush allocations. Okay. So we're gonna push and pop from, we're gonna push to the front and pop from the back, right? 5 phone, right? And now we should have the set focus function actually exist on the, where did you go? The untyped. The untyped. Oh, it doesn't have it. Okay, well, change of heart then. So this would be self.untyped context inner dot focus queue dot push back, and we're gonna take a impl into cow static stir and a value. So we're gonna push back key into and value into. Reasonably simple. Is this not an untyped context? Yes, it is. Does this not have... Oh, no, it's on the component context. All right. Well, we'll just change that to... No. Holy. Component context. We don't need that. That might be able to come up as RT. We'll see. We shall see. QA focus call to a component that might have an attribute matching the key and value pair. Whoa, new line there. Okay. But writing readmes and stuff is hard. It's really, it takes energy and effort, and we want to spend that on churning out code, right? We don't want to spend that on, you know, pedestrian things like writing documentation and things like that, right? Send a value, send a message to a given component. Yes. Okay, I think we actually documented everything on this type now. What's the UCL protocol? If there is a short answer to that, I don't want to drag you into some week-long explanation to someone who barely knows the rules of chess. I know how the pieces are allowed to move, and that's about it. I also played something called Suicide Chess once, and it was quite fun. It's when you probably know what it is, but you're supposed to lose all your pieces and you'll get your king into check. It's kind of fun. Component context focus queue push back. So that means that we have this now. So let's go to our runtime again. And after our event handling, inside a tick function, we're gonna handle messages, tick components. We're gonna create this context, handle the events. Universal chess, oh, UCI, not UCL, UCI, sorry. There's like I'll show you something really annoying when it comes to streaming on YouTube. And it's this. Half people's messages are like covered by this little symbol in the corner. So I can't really see. Oh no, it doesn't make the chat any bigger as well, right? Chat rate 0. I'm doing well. But yes, anyway, it is frustrating with the user interface being there. I guess I could just hide this thing. Let's just inspect this thing. No, I didn't want to inspect it. Let's block it. Yeah, it's very frustrating. Let's see, block element. Let's pick. No, I can't even pick it. I can only pick the entire chat. Wow, that's super weird. Can I inspect that thing at least? A button. Okay, so can we maybe try to block the element YT reaction control panel button view model? That's a long name. Okay. Are you not gonna let me resize this? Network filters, cosmetic filters. Can we just do that? Let's preview that. It did nothing. I clearly don't know how this works. Eep. I'm just trying to block elements. But it's not happening. Nope. They've successfully made it so you can't even block it. If I were to delete this element. Yeah, no, that was not it. It has the class YouTube reaction control panel view model. Really? All right, we'll try that. No, that's still not happening. Oh my goodness, why? Okay, if I delete that node, it works, but not if I actually try to write a filter for it. I honestly don't know. Okay, let's try to reload the page. Oh shit. Can I do that while I'm streaming? Apparently I could. All right. So there we go. Let's go into uBlock origin, block element. Let's grab something here. Let's just change this to that. I have no idea how any of this stuff works. I just realized. Why are there so many IDs in here as well? And we can't pick that value for whatever reason. We can only pick the chat itself. Oh my God. Nah, I don't get it, man. All right, well, I just leave it at that. Okay, so we now have the event handler. You can just disable it natively in the really? Oh my God. Wait, how? The three dots don't work. Wait, okay. I'll show you this because I think there is an entertainment value in me trying to use a computer, okay? So the three dots, they appear. I'm trying to get to the three dots. Okay. Do I sort of have to sneak around? No, I almost had it. No, I don't want to put you in timeout. Oh, wait, do you mean this one? You meant that one? I'm a freaking genius. I thought you meant the other three dots. I didn't even see that. Oh, that's funny. And you were the only one who saw that, you safe. You're the only one who saw that. No one else will ever know. All right. Okay. So here we can do our focus cue. So we'll do. Oh yeah. So that's why we need to have this cue already here. Let's store the focus cue on self then. Okay. So the thing that I was gonna do has to be done now. Wow, okay. Focus cue. We're gonna make a new type for this thing somewhere. We have quite a few types in here, don't we? A runtime builder. This probably belongs to events, right? So let's do a pub struct focus cue. And in our tree business here, where we create a new focus queue somewhere. Here. We're going to pass in this, but let's grab this first. Yeah, that's fine. There we go. Let's drop that in there. Ooh, Nelly, that could be a complication. There's no way we're going to be able to preserve this. Okay. Oh man, that's just longer than typing, isn't it? Okay. Then we need to have an impl focus queue. And here we go, all right? Back deck new. Because we don't know what we're going to have in there, right? Now, I don't know what we're going to do here. Okay, we probably won't put that on the runtime. We'll specify this one elsewhere. We just create it when we start running. So apply future, not so much. Where's the builder? Where's the tick function? We're going to walk backwards from internal run, I think. Here's where we create a whole bunch of malarkey. What does the eval context have in terms of lifetime? You know what? A and B, beautiful, beautiful lifetimes. The one time, you should not do that, right? Okay, let's just create this thing here. Yeah, that's definitely what I want to do. Whoops. Let mat. What is it called? Focus queue, right? Focus queue is equal to focus queue new. And this thing can be pub super. No reason why we should expose that to anyone. Okay, so now we can just slap this focus queue on this eval context and we can make it live for as long as scopes and states. Well, okay. Right. We can really only have static. Actually, we can use the blueprint there. Although that's never going to be the correct lifetime. So I probably shouldn't use that. Cannot find type focus queue. Well, where is this? Oh, it's in widgets. Dang. Okay. The focus queue has to move out of here. It's in events right now. No, it isn't. Where's the focus queue? Here it is. Yeah. So we're going to move this thing out of here and into here. This is oddly runtime specific, but then we end up doing that anyway. Whew, okay, you can know about common val. That's fine. Creating a new eval context from resolve future values. Do we really need to add? No. The eval context should definitely not have the focus, whatchamacallit, on there. Focus queue be darned. Now that doesn't exist anymore. Now this does, however, exist, but it is not there yet. So it's not part of the evaluation context, but it is going to be part of the events. So do we have an event context that we can deal with here? No, it doesn't. So it's going to be focus queue here. And the same thing is going to be added to the event. Where is event handling? Dang. What am I looking at here? Here we go, right? So we need to have associated events declared up here already then. Yeah, no, focus queue, I mean. And yeah, we do. So we're going to pass it in on the tick function. That's going to have the focus queue. We're going to get the focus queue here. That's a mutable reference to focus queue, unsurprisingly. Right. Maybe, I mean, clearly that can't be right. But, you know, okay. Ticking the components, we're going to possibly pass in the focus queue here. Yes, we are. And untyped context does not have that. Instead, it's going to be on the component context. Focus queue is now called focus queue with the runtime lifetime, which again is different from the blueprint lifetime. Hopefully this will not collapse everything. That is not going to be public, I think. And then we're going to add this. Here's event handling. Event context has associated. Wait, if event context can have associated events, which is what? The reason the component cannot have access to the children during this event is because the parent is borrowing from the from the child's state. While this is happening. Okay. What the flip does this mean? Oh, right. This is creating an associated event. So maybe this should be part of the focus queue instead then, right? And this will have the same lifetime. With the blueprint lifetime. Okay, that kind of makes more sense. So it's part of the event context. Focus queue. Yes, that is correct. Technically, we could do that, but we're not going to. Right, now I have to unpick all this beautiful mess that we have. The string storage is still broken, so that actually has to go into the bugs, right? Bug. String storage is still broken. Alternatively, just put the strings on the widgets and call it a day. Wait, that wasn't right. There we go. Vale. Okay, so focus queue. Is that where you live now? Okay. I'm okay with that. All right, we can make this thing happen. So push back, or rather, in this case, it's going to be push, and this is going to be our key into and value into. Simple enough. So this is going to be the key, which will be a cow, static stir, and the value will be a common val runtime, but it's sort of not. key value. We've already done the conversion, so we don't really care about that. That's going to be a... no, component context does not have the focus Q. Although it does. Yes, it does. Undo that. So this is going to get the focus Q as an input. Focus Q. And what the help do we put there? We only have one lifetime to speak of. That clearly is going to have to be static, I think. Possibly a blueprint, but that means introducing a new lifetime here, and I don't want to. So we'll see. Focus Q is just going to be noted like that. And now this has to be a mutable reference. There we go. All right, so now we need to go and expose these things. So we've exposed associated events. Focus Q is no doubt. Wait, can we get to the parent from here? Super. There we go. Do we have associated events in here? No. Then what's the issue here? This is widgets component module. I put it in the wrong place because I'm a big dummy, right? Focus Q lives with the eval context and all that. Yeah, we need to move you out of there into, I think here. Do we have associated events in here? This is components module. Yes, yes, we do. Okay, so we put it after associated events then. There we go, right? Get rid of that thing. Can we now import this thing? And this thing too. Whew. Okay, so the event context needs an associate. Okay, so where do you get associated events? Okay, then focus Q. It's going to be the focus Q from the event context. Component context is going to have, yeah, focus Q. Whoops. This is when autocorrect goes wrong. It's not autocorrect, is it? It's autocomplete. So handle message needs associated event and focus Q here as well. This is really icky that we're using this lifetime here. I don't think that's the right thing to do. This has to be public now. All right, so tick component needs to have the focus Q as well, which we keep changing that lifetime. So who knows, right? Oh, bollocks. That's where the lifetime came back to haunt us, right? Okay. Then we need to add a different lifetime to this thing. Which, of course, makes things less pleasant, but we have no choice. External state should probably also have that lifetime. Hello, lifetime permeation. We gotta make sure that we do this consistently. Wait. No, we can't do that. Come on. Oh, that's so rancid. Okay, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna skip this lifetime and we're gonna go with a static lifetime for this part. For now. It's not my favorite thing to do, but we're gonna do it anyway. So that becomes static. You go back to be runtime specific. Then you become static. And this is not cool. Wait. Really? Oh yeah, really. Man, this is gonna take forever to go and fix this when I actually go, you know, to fix this. Well, I did not mean to quit and lose my entire under history there, but you know what? Sometimes you just have to be okay with it, right? Okay, so does this mean that we can now actually do this? So, well, let's get rid of the silly business for now. And in our ROM project, let's emit something. Undo history is good, yeah. But that would only be if I constantly commit everything. And I'm not that vigorous when it comes to committing. Okay, so let's say that, okay, well, we want to call set focus. Okay, so we actually have that. That will also work. What we can't do is take a string from self, but it makes sense that you can't do that. Yeah, why would we do that? Okay. Yeah, the thing is, and you have, I amend my commits quite frequently as well, right? But if I lost all this work, it wouldn't be that much of a pain point. The pain is figuring out the work. Typing it out is not the pain. So I know how to solve this, and I know what I need to do if all this work just disappeared, right? So let's do this. If let sum c is equal to key.getCar, then we're gonna set the focus to the second one. No matter where we are, we're gonna queue up, set the focus to the second one. Okay. Let's get to it, shall we? So then in our lib, handle event, please. No. So here. No, I think I want to do it inside the event handler. This thing should probably be the one that actually owns the focus events. So we're gonna move that. We'll set a little to do over here, right? Move focus queue into the event handler. And this is like the throwaway list as well, so none of that's gonna be retained. Okay, so we're gonna go through and do all this work with the events, and then here we can now drain the focus queue. So while let some key value equals to, just wondering about that. Let's just shift. Okay, you know what? It's fine. While let some key value equals to what? Event context dot focus queue dot pop, which by the way now means that we're gonna have a pop function, which will be self.focusQ.pop front, and that's an option of cow static monarchy and common val RT, which is a very misleading one. All right, and you have to be mutabubbles for this to work. Okay, so we can do this. We have the key, we have the value. So now we actually have what we need. Oh, goodness me. So do we scan the tree for these attributes, or do we scan the components and then dip into the tree for each component? Can we iterate over the components? Maybe we can, right? So for comp in where do the components come from? Event context.components.iter. I'm just making shit up now. Nope, that was right. Okay, that's a component entry. Then we'll hop in here to get this with value. That's going to be the tree, which is somewhere. Comp.widgetID. Is this right? It is right. I sometimes get surprised when things compile, especially when I wrote them. Like, hey, why is this working? Well, never me mind then. Okay. Now we need to ensure that the widget, well, we know what the widget is. So we're going to say let widget kind component equals to widget else unreachable. Okay, so we care about the widgets kind being a component, but I don't know if we really do care about that yet. We need to do things like look at the attributes. So how do we get the attributes? So let attributes equals, where does attributes come from? We have this. Get maybe widget ID. Is this even a thing? No, hang on. All right, I bet this is not documented. Well, okay. Get the attributes by widget ID. Stupid name, but get mutable reference to right. Insert attributes for a given widget. Now the question is, will this insert override insert at? This will override in value. Okay, so this will override. Okay. That's good. All right. So we documented the whole thing as well, right? In the process of doing things. So this could be an option, right? No, it isn't. That's an attribute. Oh, this give me some. Okay. So if we have this attribute now. Oh man, I'm sore. If we have this attribute, we can now do something like attributes.get key. You good with that? No, you're not. Oh, get value. What are you getting? What are we getting here? Okay. It's not get. It's not value. It's not insert. It's not set. It's not get ref. It's probably not get. Maybe it is get val. Yeah, let's go with get val. Okay. And that's an option. Let sum val equals else continue. All right, else return. And we kind of have to do something with control flow here, but that's okay. So we have this value now, and we need to check if this value matches this value. And we can't say if val is equal to value because we can't compare these two. We could probably do something like to common here. What's the trait bound you need? Right, okay, so you're gonna be a difficulty, are you? So value can do what? We can do an inner. No, we can't. We can do a load common. No, we can't. Okay. Oh, Nelly. Right. Do we need to... So we can dereference this thing into the inner. So that's okay. So that gives us... And what is the value? That gives us an eval value. And we can do a load common val from there. Okay. Which gives us an option of an either. There we go. Thank you. Right, so we have this either thing now, and we should be able to do something like values equal to either if we do something like to common here. that's a common val. That's a common val. That's an if statement. There we go. Wow. Okay. That was a bit of a journey. And then here we need to break. So this thing should now be a continuation query, right? Bool, yeah. And then if not continue, then break, because we've already done the work. Right? Wow, what a journey to get here. Okay, so now we need to actually set focus. So we have discovered the widget in question that needs focus. I don't think we need to own this thing. Oh, really? So these are actually two different values. So how come this thing always returns a value and this thing returns an option of a value? Oh, because this one can panic then, can't it? This checkout can certainly panic. Yeah. Panics. This will panic if the value is already checked out. Right. There we go. So we will just unwrap true. So we'll just continue if anything goes wrong there. So we will check every one of these things. Now we have to call the set focus. We have to call set focus on this thing. And I have no idea how that's going to work. This is kind of wrong. Which means this unwrap thing becomes redundant again. Because we need to have mutable access to the underlying component. So we can call any component. Any component. No? Does that not exist? Oh, dyn component. And what do we want to call here, right? We need to call the focus. So we already have like an any focus in here somewhere. That's what we want to call here. Although I get the feeling that this is not going to happen. Oh, man. Okay. We kind of need to filter this. Cannot find widget ID. Well, that's going to be comp.widget ID. Well, that's hardly going to work. All right, where are we using the event context here? Oh, we're using it here. We cannot express this, can we? Even though we return here Because we're borrowing it. We're borrowing it here. No, we're not. We are borrowing this one. Okay. What's in components? I think we can get rid of this thing. And then what? Then we still have an issue with all of this. Okay, well, let's just see if we can swing this then. That would be amazing. Go down. Okay, so it's gonna be there. So we have some kind of for loop somewhere. Drain associated events. This is gonna be drain focus queue. So we basically have to find, I mean, we could do that, right? We could just find the component. But then if we do that, why wouldn't we just operate on that once we find it, right? So I don't think that's a good idea. We'll do this one instead. Okay. That will give us the widget and state ID. Ah, really? Where? Oh, shape. It's the attribute storage. But can we just do that? And then here we just drop that. So if it's not, then we're going to return true. And then we do that here. So we'll drop the attributes. Oh, I did not love that. Oh, how annoying are you? Really, do we have to program like old Rust here? Holy, I haven't had to write code like this in forever. This is some old sinful Rust to have to write code like that. What lifetime do we have here? We don't. Okay. Now, this is some grotesque looking Rust, but okay. But do we have focus events now? So if I press a character, if I press the letter A, we're going to focus on the second one. Panic instead, right? Oh. Do we not have attributes for components? Is that it? Did I think that we did, but then we didn't? Do we not get attributes for this? Here we go. Okay, attributes empty widget ID. We don't. At least not that I can see. Okay, so what do we do with these attributes? We don't do values. We already have that as state, so that ain't gonna happen. But this seems like we should have this, shouldn't we? We need a widget ID before we can do anything with this, so that has to happen first. Here's the external state that we use. That makes sense. In hindsight, that could probably have been values, couldn't it? We're not going to mess around with that though, all right? Okay, so we got state ID, we got component ID. What do we do with these? These attributes are orthogonal to this, right? Yeah, we use them when we call the factory make thing, but other than that, nah. Context attribute storage. All right, we need the widget ID. So we're going to get that here. Then we're going to set up our attributes here. That was the value. It's this one that I wanted. Oh, man. Ooh, what is a single here? Self.inputs single. All right, we store attributes on single. I don't think component stores attributes. Well, it does. So why were they never used then? Okay, we're just gonna have to look for attributes in here. But we don't find any. That's a little bit bonkers, as people would say if they are feeling particular. So we're going to refer to this as input. All right, let's do attributes. Oh man, that's hard to. Values already checked out. Come on. All right, hang on. Was that? Does that matter which one we look at? No. Okay, that's pretty bad. Oh yeah, of course it is. I mean, we do this. Tree with value. Okay, so we can do this then, right? So found is gonna be false. And then here, true. If we found the value, if found, and then break. Yeah, you happy with that? Yes, I am. Shit, that bloody well worked, didn't it? Okay then. That's pretty badass. Well, I mean, it's a pretty badass, but what do you want from me? A will then send focus. It doesn't blur the other widgets, so we kind of have to do that. Wow, look at the time. I could be watching TV and doing nothing now. Okay, so we need to deal with unfocus. Where do we do focusing? It's going to be in the global events. So we have to blur the first one. Now, I'm not loving the idea that we do this. Okay, so we need to store the component tab index here. And all right, so really, oh yeah, no, hang on. That's gonna be that index, right? And we don't even question whether this thing accepts focus or not, right? Although we could technically do that here, but that's not relevant. Actually, we do that check here. Man, I'm feeling so tired from this. So we kind of have to do this check as well. So that's going to be component.any component. What is this? What are you component? Is it not that? Accept focus any. There we go. So we have to skip components that don't accept focus, and we have to blur the current one, and we have to set the current one now to index. So event context dot components dot tab index is equal to I. Sheep. I mean, it's mechanical at best, but it freaking works. Let's make this into hello. So we don't use things like ID. So given this, oh, you decided to just unburden my clipboard. There we go. Oof, there you go, right? There you go. Yes. All right. I am pretty happy with this. But I think I'm too brain dead to continue now. I think I am too what's the word? Frazzled. Thank you. Oh, bollocks. We have 2 failures. Overflow. On dev. Okay. Which one of you suckers is breaking my heart here? Is the last feature we need before the jam. There are still some bug fixes and docs to write, and I need to review PR, so I'll do that tomorrow. Now I must sleep. There we go. All right. It was good. It was very productive. So thank you all for hanging out. Short stream again, but there you go. If you want to, you can catch me on Twitch. Twitch.tv/togglebit, because I have a stupid name. There you go. And yeah, this is what I do. All right. Bye for now.